5-on-5 game, he good. 1-on-1, I'm undefeated, never lost.
Yes. It's Trot Wham on Twitter, and this is Who-Bangin Sports Talk. Let's start off by hitting you right over the head with the live sweat events is here. It is near. It's September, my dear, and we right here with you guys Friday, starting off on the 27th. It's the meet and greet out there in Las Vegas, where we will be hitting bookies over the head. Right after that, it will be Saturday the 28th, live event with the UNLV Fresno State game. Following that is another live event with the Raiders versus Browns. We know our brother Ix Nizzo will be in attendance, giving it up right there. And I'm your host, season 2. Trot Wham on Twitter with my brother from another, LJ from H-Town. How you feeling, brother?
Hey, man, we back on it, baby. The script, season 2, NFL. Let's get it, Wham. Time to get this bread, my guy.
Man, you already know it's definitely about that time. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Shout out to my dog Justin in here, Moneyline Mills. We already know. Tighten up. He ready for this extraordinary day. This is season 2, the start of the script, September 1st. I started a little late. This is a lot later than normal. We will be doing this early, right before the games hit off on Sundays. Same time as you always see, early for me. So don't even worry about it. I will be right there locked in, getting ready for it. My dog Dylan is up in here. Yes, we will be talking about the NFL, and I'm excited to talk about it with my dog, LJ. And let's start off with the South. Why not? Start off with the South, and why no other? Let's talk about it right now. My brother LJ from H-Town, it's only right that I start off with some of that team over there from H-Town, the Houston Texans. They are in the AFC South. Right now, they're favorite, I believe, to win this division, if I'm not mistaken, and I will be pulling that up shortly here. My apologies.
I got it right here for you.
Okay, cool. Shout out to my dog. Shout out to bro. Shout out to bro. So yeah, I do think that start off there as far as the AFC division futures. They are favorite plus 100. I'm seeing at Bet Online. Right there, short is Jacksonville Jaguars, who were the favorites last year at plus 270. We're seeing that this team and the Houston Texans made a lot of improvements defensively, a lot of improvements offensively, got better at the wide receiver core where they were already creeping to being one of the best before the acquisition of Stephon Diggs. I'm going to kick it to LJ because you the expert here. Your Houston Texans, you think they could win this division, brother?
Yes, I do, my friend. Yes, I do. Just because of the key acquisitions that they accumulated this offseason. Going to start off with the offense. You know, they got Joe Mixon in the backfield, and a very important X factor piece that I feel is going to make a lot of noise is Cam Akers. Came from the Rams. Yeah. Miko Ryans knows this player because he was with the 49ers. So he has tendencies of knowing type of different players that he can see and predict. So I believe that was a great pick for D'Amico. And I think that CJ Stroud, once he gets a nice play action, I think we're going to see a whole nother dynamic come from him because we couldn't really run the ball last year. We only averaged 97 yards on the ground, which was right under 100 yards. But I love the fact how D'Amico improved the defense. He was a defensive coach, so he came over, fixed the defense immediately. We was giving up 150 rushing yards on the ground. We got right up to 100, so we took 50 yards off a game. Just that instantly, we're drafting, Will Anderson, couple more pieces. So now we added Daniel Hunter. We got another pass rusher, and we got Petrie, our safety. Very important player. I love Petrie, man. He plays on the line. He's a headhunter. So I'm expecting these Texans to, of course, go over their 9.5 wins. I got it at -125 right now. I think that's an easy bet. They had 10 wins last year. I don't see why they can't get 10 wins again. And when we're looking at the schedule, first 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. First 9 games, they only played 2 playoff teams from last year. So I'm expecting the Texans to come out of the gate around 7-3, 6-4 in those first 10 games. Because once that happens, you got Detroit, Dallas, you got Miami, you got Kansas, you got Baltimore later on in your schedule. So if they can start off early, get ahead of the game, I think they can have some wiggle room towards the end of that season to give up some losses, hoping that we could rest some players, because if we lock up the division early, we can rest some players and get ready for the playoffs. So that's how I see it playing off, Wham. I got the Texans over 9.5 wins. I got it at -120. And I also picking the Texans to win the division. And I see it is at where are we at? AFC South. Texans -115 is what I got right now for them to win the division. And of course, I'm going to take a long shot, and I'm going to take CJ Stroud to win the MVP. I think the weapons around him is just too potent. They added Stephon Diggs. They still got Nico. Tank Dale's coming back from injury. So we got a lot of offensive parts that CJ Stroud could play with. So as long as they can protect them on that offensive line, give him time to pass, I see the Texans rolling for 10 wins over 9.5, and I believe they will win the division. And I got it at -115.
I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, man. As far as the MVP, yeah, man. Who else would I go to in this situation? I know that the guy I like for rookie with most regular season receiving touchdowns is going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. That's not divisional, so let me not talk about that. But I do like Adonai Mitchell to be the close second there. Close second. I know Adonai Mitchell is not somebody that you're going to go straight to the walls here. You're probably going to go Keon Coleman, some of that nature. But in this quick there, that's something I would think about if you're going that direction. But I do love the MVP look right there, bro. I love the Texans. Everything you're saying right there. Those are the only things that I was thinking about on that side. I'm looking for the numbers there for the MVP here. But yeah, man, I'm right there with you with that MVP look with CJ. I think it's set up perfectly for them. And then as far as early, that's the thing I really want to talk about. Them starting off early, they go to Indiana, like you said, that's a tough game on the road. But following that, it's not necessarily that many tough games on the road. They go against another dome team. Their first 2 road games are dome teams. So it's Indiana and Minnesota. After that, they play the Chicago Bears at the house. They play the Jacksonville Jaguars, Buffalo at home as well. Following that, they go on the road, which is their toughest travel advantage in this situation because they got to go towards the East Coast and go play against, the Mayo-led New England Patriots, exactly. And following that, Jordan Love and them. So that's going to be the 2 tough tasks for these Texans. But other than that, that's so later down in the season. I think that this team has already shown that they're tried and true, something that we already used to, something that I'm really going to be looking forward to seeing how the props are going to translate with all this extra help. Is that going to affect Tank Dale's touchdowns, which I do not think so. I don't think that's going to stop him from being able to get open on teams and be that big play capable person. I think that they're going to share the ball, and if they're smart enough to know that this motherfucker don't get his way, and Stephon Diggs, he's gonna give you an issue. You know what I'm saying? I am gonna be keying in and looking in on that. I'm not gonna lie, just because he got a history of doing so. So at that point, I'm gonna look in for that. But other than that, I think they're super talented, and you got right there. But one thing I will say, I'm not going to count out I'm not counting out the Jacksonville Jaguars just yet. I think a lot of residue from this Urban Meyer season was kind of just still shaking off on that damn team. Travis Etienne is going to have a way better career than what he already has so far. I expect him to have a great bounce back this year, being one of those high fantasy type guys as well. So um, I like to look in his direction. I like to look at Trevor Lawrence bounce back side, and I like Evan Ingram probably be like something like Tank Dell to get touchdowns every fucking week. Uh, I think Evan Ingram anytime touchdowns is going to be such a good look for us to start off. We got to just keep riding that start off here. So I'm going to have that mentality to start off. As long as we keep cashing, that's going to be my my idea in there as far as the AFC South. But I'm right there with my brother LJ. I think that this is going to be their division to lose. Obviously, they won it last year, won a playoff game. It's only up from here, and the only up that you mentioned is the MVP. I think they still fall short in the playoffs. It's just some type of adolescence curve that they need to go over. Maybe it's even Stephon Diggs is not a good team player, and they need some sort of leadership at some type of standpoint. Or maybe CJ Stroud is that type of guy. He gonna get these motherfuckers in order, and they gonna get them to the Super Bowl. Like it could either be one or the other. So I think the sky is the limit for this team for sure for the Texans. But what I would say, as far as realistic thinking, I think that they're going to have trouble possibly in that second round. They may be coming out the wild card, or not necessarily playing the wild card round, but based off of just scheduling and stuff like that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And we can't count out the Colts either, man.
At
Anthony
all.
Richardson, he's coming back from a concussion because in week 2 of last year, he played us and he had 2 touchdowns before he went out the game. He had 2 rushing touchdowns and caught that concussion on that touchdown run.
Right.
So I'm expecting him to bounce back this year. And the Colts, we beat the Colts in the last game of the season last year to get to the playoffs and win that division. So they were right there fighting for the division with us. So fresh out the gate, I've already said that that's gonna be a tough matchup the first game because it's at the Colts. I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts win that game. Won't be surprised at all because I understand that they're gonna want to put up a fight. But at the same time, if they could stay healthy, Jonathan Taylor is now by himself. They got rid of Zach Moss, so now he's by himself, so he's injury prone. So if they can stay healthy, they should have a nice run too. But I just believe I think our defense is better. I think we have the best defense in the division, and that's just
I'm not gonna lie. I did like what I seen from the Colts defensive standings in those first few fantasy games. They were playing a lot of their starters in that first few standings in those fantasy games. They were going up against second string quarterbacks though, so that is another thing that we added on there. But the fact that they were looking real dominant, I was thinking that could translate into the season. I am looking at the Colts as their defense is being not necessarily looked at. Maybe there's some upside there with their defense that people are not talking about. So I do like the Colts. Yeah, I do like the Colts. Maybe get into the trenches there. So you saying that secondary is choppy. I don't necessarily remember their secondary getting cooked, but that's again, they was going up against second string quarterback. So I'm not even going to say they went up against somebody good. So at the end of the day, I did like they trench work though, that's for sure. So going into that, I would just agree with my boy though. That's why I was going to go into this. As far as those futures that my dog said, I do agree. Along with taking a stab at that CJ Stroud MVP, and then moving right along with the over for the season wins. I do agree with that as well. So shout out to that. And going back into the we'll have a segment at the end where we talk about all the bets and all that shit though. So again, I'll go over all that stuff. Going back to the South though, we're gonna go to the NFC South. It's kind of what we do in the script. We talk about each other's teams. My team is actually expected to be good this year as well. I don't like it. I talked about this already on our shows. I don't like the fact that people are trying to hype up the NFC South expected champions and the Falcons. Like, how you gonna try to crown us the Falcons the champions just based off of offseason moves? And based off of what we did do, we do know that this another year of health is going to help Grady Jarrett. This other year of health is going to help Eminyata. This other year of health is going to help Jesse. It's going to help the acquisitions as far as AJ Terrell. Shout out to bro. It's going to help a lot of these players on the defense. I do believe that there is going to be what you've seen with the Falcons those first 2 weeks of last year. they were pretty good on the defensive side. I think in this game, I mean, as far as these first few games is going to be so crucial for the Falcons. Not only necessarily just about them scoring, not being able to score, but as far as like create turnovers for this Falcon team. Not only from the air, I think they got to be able to get to the quarterback, get sacks and things of that nature. So they play Pittsburgh. One thing that I heard you say before this game is that they got to get to the quarterback. They got to be able to expose. The Steelers don't necessarily have a great offensive quarterback or offensive line or anything of that such. I expect this to be a good game. Obviously, Arthur Smith is the new defensive I think mind over there to help out the Steelers and shit like that. But it's supposed to be his revenge type game against the Falcons. I think the Falcons start off this season on the road against the Pittsburgh Steelers is just the fucking thing they need to get their shit together with the new
No,
coach.
they at home. Falcons at home.
Oh, they at the house. Yeah, my fault, bro. My fault. I'm looking at Pittsburgh. My fault. They
Yeah,
first
they at home.
road. They first 2 games on the road. My fault. So after that, they go on the road. My fault.
Yeah.
That's that game. That game is so needed, bro. That game is so needed, bro. Or my fault. That is a home game. My fault. I was looking at something. I was looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers. My fault. I think that's such a needed game, though, bro. That's such a needed game for the Falcons, bro. They need to win that game convincingly. Show that all that offensive talent. Show that Kirk Cousins wasn't a bad pickup. Show all those things. Show some competence. That is so much needed for the Falcon fans. Not only for them, even for the NFL fans. They all need to see when you collect all this talent, not just waste it. You know what I'm saying? Especially fantasy players, fantasy fans. We're gonna be paying attention to the Falcons. They're supposed to be good this year. You know what I mean? We're supposed to be seeing better from Kyle Pitts. A lot of people are paying attention, not just the Falcon fans. That's why I said I'm not believing everybody to be like, oh, the Falcons are gonna be good. I'm not believing y'all. I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna see this shit from week to week, but I do believe we should run through the damn Steelers. I do think they will show flashes of them playing pretty good, the Steelers, because their defense is really good. So the Falcons is going to probably have trouble scoring. It's still going to be ugly, but they should be able to win this game there. So I think that's going to start it off for them. Obviously, I was trying to say they go on a road following that. So that's going to help them try to come out there and win against that Philly team. That's going to be the telltale sign. They could beat Philly in Philly after beating Pittsburgh in a tough ass game. So they're going to be underdogs against Philly in that situation. That's going to be the game where you're going to be able to take the Falcons serious, and then you're going to be able to take them so serious that they're going to beat Kansas City the following week after that. And now they're projected to have a 12 to 10 plus season, which is making it to the playoffs, making it out of the division, and that stuff is going to be a dub for you. So I think that the Falcons starting off with those few wins is going to be so crucial, especially starting off with the Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is going to be the biggest one. After that, it should get a little cupcake. I think that the Kansas City Chiefs is not the Chiefs that won the Super Bowl last year, so they may be susceptible to playing a better team in the Falcons in Week 3. That may be a problem there. Then the Falcons play against a weak Saints and a weak Tampa Bay team, and then following that, they go on a road against Carolina. I think they win all 3 of those division games. After that, it's going to be off to the race. So, of course, I think the Falcons are going to win this damn division. I'm not even going to beat your head over that. I didn't even bet nothing on that. I don't even want nothing to do with that because, again, I need to wait and see. What I am going to do is I'm going to take them each game leading all the way up until that Carolina game, because if they playing really, really well all the way up to Carolina cover and they might even win and beat us. And I'm telling you why. Because at that point, they already got y'all. They already made y'all believers. They done beat Kansas City. They done went on the road and won against the Eagles. They already done showed y'all already. So by the time they play Carolina on the road, even though that's a great game for them to be able to win, and I believe they have the rest advantage against Carolina in that game by a slight margin, according to my dog Drew Distinct in his situational spread a matrix there. I think it's giving them about like a +3, +2 advantage there for Carolina on the spread there. So I just think that they could possibly win the game and cover the spread there for Carolina. So that might be a good chance to take Carolina on the spread, maybe even a big number. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I'm looking at the Falcons to start off. I'm not even necessarily taking them to any futures. I just got a strategy to bet them every week there, starting off with week 1 there. So that's my first thing. As far as that, I'm gonna kick it to you. Before I do so, Tony Kaz, I appreciate you with the $5 sticker, man. Appreciate you, my dog. Love you to death, my boy. Appreciate you for being a Who-Bangin Sports out here, bro. We appreciate that. Marcelling, yes, sir. Yeah, man. Appreciate you, Tony. Appreciate that. But yeah, back at it with LJ. Go ahead, my dog. What you think about the NFC South? Do you agree with me? And I didn't mention nobody else because I think Baker gonna be trash there. I think that they will still show signs that they can score, but their defense, everything will be all out of balance. Their run game is not going to be as good as people expect it to be because there's offensive line issues there, even though they shouldn't have it. And next one, in this, and then as far as the Saints, it's Carr. I'm not even going to tell too much about it. It's Carr. And then I do believe Bryce Young possibly is going to be the upside king of this division. I think as much as you'd expect the Falcons to be, even possibly a great playoff teams, I think that there's going to be a lot more variance in favor of the Panthers. You make more money probably betting with them this year rather than the Falcons. I think just because, like I said, they already got y'all by the time they go up against the Panthers. They already gonna have y'all by then thinking that they the best shit since sliced bread, and they probably gonna get smoked out. You know what I mean by the Panthers? Because I think Bryce Young is gonna play better offensively. He got a better chance to play better with new regime there. Then the talent around him is only getting better, and then eventually, by the time they do play the Falcons, I do expect them to have their first round draft pick in Brooks, being one of the first rookie running backs off the board there. I think he's gonna be such an impact for this team. They're gonna be not tripping off of getting rid of the running backs there that they just did. And then that Trooper Hubbard and all them, I think they're just going to be filling. So I do expect slight improvement for the Panthers there. Maybe just enough to be not as last in this division there. So, but yeah, that's it, my boy. I'm kicking to you, LJ. My fault, bro.
No, I agree with you, man, and the books agree as well. They got the total at what? Falcons minus 140 to win the NFC South, and they got them at over 9.5 wins, minus 150. So the books are saying that they're going to have at least 10 wins and fight for the division. So I can easily see it. And the thing I like about it is that I believe they have the best quarterback in the division now. I think Kirk Cousins is better than Baker. He's obviously better than Bryce. And, I think he's better than Derek Carr. So the fact of that, I feel they have the advantage on the offensive side of the ball. Now, their defense is what's going to have to prove to us that they can get after the quarterback and create turnovers, because they were bottom 5 in turnovers, takeaways last year with only 16. So they have to improve that to take the ball away to get extra possessions for the offense. Now, they had Desmond Ridder last year. He turned the ball over. He got sacked. He was a horrible quarterback. So I think the fact that they just getting Kirk Cousins is going to improve at least 2 or 3 wins, in my opinion. You already mentioned the division is soft, and the fact that a lot of their games, I'm looking at their schedule, they play Philly, Kansas City, and Dallas. Those are the only 3 teams that made the playoffs outside of their division besides Tampa Bay. So if they can get through that first couple of games with the before their bye, they got the Chargers, Minnesota, the Raiders, the Giants, Washington, and Carolina at the end of their schedule. Yeah. They could easily win all those games. You see what I'm saying? So if they could get out of this first part of their schedule with a nice record, I definitely believe they will be fighting for the division. And I like how Justin just mentioned that Penix. They picked up Penix for a reason, because Kirk Cousins could get hurt. He's coming off an Achilles injury. So he could easily get hurt, but yet they don't want their season to be damaged to try to go trade for another quarterback and give up some picks to try to save their season. Let's get the quarterback out of college and keep him right there as a safety net in case the Kirk Cousins experience goes haywire. But other than that, I'm liking the Falcons. I'm definitely going to pick the Falcons to win the division. I haven't bet it yet, but minus 140, the books are telling you that the Falcons are very, very viable to win this division.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people are betting it. They talking about it all the time. That's what I'm saying. They're trying to convince us as Falcons fans. Like, we haven't relived through the damn Super Bowl every damn weekend that they love to play that damn Super Bowl over and over, about how great Tom Brady came back and all that good shit. Forget about the damn fan base that experienced it. You know what I mean? But neither here nor there, because who really gives a fuck, right? No one give a damn. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's why I'll be quiet about it. But yeah, for the most part though, yeah, that's the NFC South all in a nutshell. We talked about the AFC South. Let's go into the NFC right back here to the north side. I want to talk about Jordan Love. Jordan Love was one of those players, man. It seemed like, bro, like at the end of the day, Jordan Love couldn't do no wrong, and he really went right back to what he was doing at Utah State. If you remember Utah State, Jordan Love, he was putting up big numbers. He was cashing us tickets as gamblers. I remember those days. I remember how great Jordan Love was as far as betting on him and being on his side, at least. Not betting against him, because his teams usually end up winning. And I did love exactly when they got him. And I think that this is another example here. His success is kind of translating over to here because he keeps the same mentality, and he actually goes out there, performs it, bro. As much as Otto says that he's overrated, Otto, you are full of shit, my boy. I'm telling you. Sorry, bro. Sorry, bro. Be quiet, bro. No way Jordan Love is overrated, bro. You see what he did already. He didn't do nothing wrong. He actually went out there, performed. There's actually weak players, trash NFL players like Mac Jones, who you were actually really backing, bro. I'm gonna start you out, Otto. You my boy. You know I love you to death, bro. But come on, I don't want to hear that shit, bro. Stop it. That's cap. That's cap. That's big cap. All right, but neither here nor there. Jordan Love definitely is a lot better than what people even trying to throw him up there. I'm not so quick to be all yeah, all right, whatever. Jordan Love is going to say these guys are went to the promised land or any of that shit. I think that this is not an easy division to win. That is for sure. As far as the Bears, I do believe that the Bears are have something to say as well. I think that Caleb Williams will come here and shake this shit up because they kind of have a team that's starting to be focused in at one time. And I was actually just telling my little brother this, like, as far as like even getting your health back together, or even getting your diet back together, or getting your finances back together, or getting anything up and running, or moving things along, or even just progressing those few assets. It's all take one big swing, bro. It take one big swing to get all that shit. And at this moment, it does appear that the Chicago Bears are attempting one big swing by adding Caleb Williams as one of the final pieces of making this a very interesting division. And I do believe plus 350 is a great look. I'm not going to lie, because even then that they win this division doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to fucking beat or win in the playoffs. They may get smoked by one of their own fellow teams in the playoffs. They could play the Packers in the playoffs and get smoked. That type of shit. So I think that they have a chance to win this division, though, just based off of some things, can align for them in this regard. And on one of the things, not only does the Falcons have the easiest schedule based off of last year's record, of course, but the Bears have the second easiest schedule. So that kind of helps out with the Bears, at least in this situation of coming out this division here. So plus 350 is kind of where I would go if I was to bake a stab here. I don't want to take either one of these two or top teams, even though you will make a better case for the Packers because they're plus 230. You're getting a lot more value. I just think that they will have more of a split between the Titan with the Lions this year rather than it be the other way around. I think the Bears have a chance to have probably the better defense if they figure this shit out quick. You know what I mean? I feel like they could figure it out a little bit more quicker here, and they could get it done. I think the quarterback play, it may be even better with the Bears. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of subject to say, and that's saying a lot because I believe that Jordan Love, like I said before, is all that, bro. He really made me money already, so I'm not going against Jordan Love. That's for sure. But at the same time, Caleb Williams, with this new regime, I think DJ Moore too. Like we kind of throw that under the rug right there. DJ Moore is being undervalued his whole career. He finally has somebody that actually has talent. You know what I mean? Not saying that some of these guys weren't really good, but they really wasn't fucking where they at right now. Like Justin Fields is not going to shake or bake for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We already know that. And then because of what he did with DJ Moore, he didn't show us shit with DJ Moore. Caleb Williams is not that. He's going to make something out of this. He already showed you signs of that in the preseason with that one drive that they had. and I already expect them to be one of the best tandems, fantasy wise, as far as stacking on a daily side. And from here on out, I think they're going to be a great tandem between those two here. So Caleb Williams, I think he has a good chance of being probably the best quarterback in this division. But that being said, I still think that the Packers can go further in the playoffs, in the championship aspirations here than the Chicago Bears, just based off of them being tried and true and getting it done down the stretch in January and February there. So I think the Bears can win the division. I'd rather take them. But as far as the Packers, I would go there. As far as the Vikings, they just lost their quarterback. What they tried to do for the draft, they shit pretty much sunk. They may have the issues with the running with the wide receivers trying to get paid. Addison is going to try to go crazy this year. Maybe a little issue there. I'm gonna stay away from anything with the Vikings there. As far as the Lions, I think this is their year or not. This is going to start to get bust type vibes. It's gonna start getting bust type vibes if they don't perform here. And they've been having issues, right, as far as like winning games in the playoffs here. So just because they had some type of success last year, I'm not gonna just say that they back. No, not at all. I think they got to be able to do a little bit more here. So Lions not gonna get my love at all either. So Chicago Bears are nothing, in my opinion, bro.
I see you.
That's pretty much how I'm going there for that. What about you, bro? How you feeling?
Man, 3 of these teams could win this division. Packers, Detroit, and the Bears. I think all 3 of them could win the division because all 3 of them made moves, improved their team. Bears got their quarterback. And not to mention, the Bears defense gave up the fewest points after week 9 last year. So the defense was playing well. They picked up Montez Sweat on their defensive line, so he's a great pass rusher. So now they got an offensive player that can move the ball. As long as the defense is not on the field most of the game, I think the Bears will definitely be valuable. They got them some receivers as well. So they definitely can make some noise. And for Detroit, I think they're the favorite for the most part. They went to the NFC Championship last year, so I'm expecting them to make the playoffs again. And their schedule is very favorable. We've already talked about it on other shows. 14 of their 17 games, they play indoors. That schedule just worked out so much favor because Jared Goff is more comfortable inside than he is outside. So I see Detroit being right there, and I'm with you with Green Bay. Jordan Love, he went 7-3 in his last 10 games last year, and he beat some good teams. He beat the Rams, he beat Kansas City. Who else did he beat? He beat Detroit. So it's not like he was playing cupcakes most of the schedule, So he played some good teams that made the playoffs, So I'm very high on Jordan Love, and the fact that they were 4-2 against the spread versus the division last year as well is that I believe that he, with the added piece of Jacobs that could come out the backfield and run between the tackles, they got a new defensive coordinator, so the defense should be better as well. And I think the best bet for Jordan Love is to just take his 2+ touchdowns and Green Bay to win. I think that's going to be the prop for most of the season because he averaged 2 touchdowns, either if he was on the road or even if he was at home. It didn't make a difference. He's going to put up 2 touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. Now, for them to win the game, that's another question. But if you just want to look at a prop just to start off the season, because he's going to get the attempts, because I don't think they're going to run the ball as much because Aaron Jones is gone. He was kind of his safety net. You get what I'm saying? He's gone. And I don't know how much production that Josh Jacobs is going to get out of that backfield. He may be more used as a dual threat to catch out the backfield. But if they protect Jordan Love, I definitely can see him putting up numbers. And like I said, 2+ touchdowns a game, I think is a solid prop for him. And Minnesota, their quarterback issue is shaky right now. I don't believe in Sam Darnold. He's a backup for a reason. So I just think Justin Jefferson is their only piece that they're going to be able to be valuable with, but he still got to get the ball thrown to him. So other than that, I'm with you, man. Green Bay, Detroit, and the Bears could easily win this division. But if I had to bet it, I still would probably take Detroit because I just think they're the better team. That's just me. I think they got more offensive potency, and they've already been there. They were in the NFC Championship last year, so they're already seasoned. I love Dan Campbell. I love how they took on the mentality of their coach. So I'm expecting Detroit to win the division, but Green Bay definitely could make the wild card. And the Bears too, because like you said, their schedule is easy as well, but it's all about a rookie quarterback. Like we saw it last year with CJ Stroud, so I'm not saying Caleb can't make it happen.
Right.
It just remains to be seen. But I think this is one of the divisions that's going to be tough. We can't call it right now, but if I had to make the bet, I would put Detroit to win the division.
And that's all we doing. We can't call it right now. That's what this show is all about. This is really not even a big deal as far as us. As far as there, I'm definitely going. You know, like I said, I'm taking that direction there. But AFC North. Let's talk about Colts here. We talked about a little bit about the Colts a little bit. AFC North. This is another interesting situation here. Now we have a situation where the Browns have reloaded almost on a quarterback because they didn't want to have the same situation happen last time where they're depending on Joe Flacco to win or that type of caliber. You know, they got multiple backups. They got the boy that EW and Jameis. He was saying already some crazy ass preseason speech already. Then they have Tyler Huntley as well. You know, another black quarterback, which I thought it was kind of odd and as well, but then we know they got Freak right there. They got Freak, man. We can't go nowhere without bro. We can't go nowhere with bro.
You some freaky ass nigga.
We know he's gonna be around as far as Freak Zone. He's gonna be there, so I had to find that button. But no, so not only they have 3 black quarterbacks. I thought that was odd, but at the same time, they have a year where it's going to really bite them, that contract that they gave the Freak Man. It's really going to hurt them if he doesn't perform this year. You know what I'm saying? Because now his values drop so freaking far now. His value could stay somewhere pretty solid. Value could stay somewhere pretty solid. You could still maybe be able to get away from him. But for the most part, no. For the most part, no. He might be fucking you over and still be playing shitty. And you really need those other two, Eaton W and Tyler Huntley. Maybe Tyler Huntley is going to be starting there because that's probably the best bet you got. You know what I mean? At this point, to keep everything afloat, because your defense is probably still the best in the damn league and in the division. You know what I mean? Like, you still got one of the best defense in the division. So it sucks that division is going to just see these other 3 teams offense maybe even be better, which they shouldn't be, but Steelers definitely offense should be better, but it might be. We already know Cincinnati's offense is going to be a lot better, and the Ravens' offense got a lot better there. So those other 2 teams, as far as the Ravens and Cincinnati, is going to be up to those 2 teams to win it all the way out. I'm going to obviously go towards the Ravens. That's my first bet for the damn season is the Ravens money line against Kansas City. I think that they're going to come out and win Thursday night, set the tone that they're not playing around. And I had said Kansas City to lose a few times so far in this in this show so far. It's 38 minutes. You heard me say Kansas City lost so far, and I haven't got to the the AFC West yet. So you should already know where I'm going with that, pretty much. But in this division, I think the Ravens will show up and have another MVP type level this year, but I think he's going to have to be very, very simple as far as his play, as far as Lamar Jackson, and that may become hard for the damn coaches. Not necessarily Lamar Jackson. It's like they have toys now; they don't know which ones to play with, and I think that's going to be the main problem for this damn Ravens team. Is going to be the coaches. Which toys are they going to be using, Pauls, and how they're going to be able to get everything organized and not overuse things, not oversaturate the offense. And I think the offense could easily get oversaturated if you do too much with Isaiah Likely and you leave Andrews out. You still got to be able to feed those wide receivers as well, and that's going to be the issue with any Ravens team because the wide receivers don't never get fed. And this one should get fed here. Jay Fowler should get fed here. These boys should get fed in this situation here, and I expect them to get fed. I just think that they're going to be a lot more rushing, of course, because Derrick Henry's there. And that alone going to be kind of hard to beat. I think their team is kind of built now to be sustainable as far as the run game, and now it's going to even be more sustainable because they got Derrick Henry, they got the backups there, and I do think that the wide receivers are going to help there as well with more pitching laterals and stuff like that as well, just try to spice it up. So I think their offense is going to be a little bit more dynamic than the Bengals. The Bengals may have a little bit running back issues here because they kind of already had that a little bit last year, but it may even be worse than that this year. And I think that we all know Joe Burrow's probably the most injury prone person in this damn division. And as soon as he's down, this team sucks. It's over for them. And you're going to be looking at the Steelers to make their push towards the playoffs, I think. Or, you know what I mean? Because I don't trust the Browns. So it's either, which, you know, where are we going to get here? Are we going to get a return on investment with the Browns? Or are we going to see the Ravens just clear cut and blow this shit all the way around? So I think that you're going to see the Ravens blow this all the way down. Them winning this division is inevitable, in my opinion. And I'm not betting that because I think you're going to make more money taking it case by case rather than taking it, locking in plus 150 right now. So I'm locking in the Ravens case by case. I'm betting with them, and I'm keeping my same ideology coming into the season as far as the Bengals being not that damn good long term. Maybe starting off, but not long term. And I'm not betting against them saying that, but for the most part, I'm not betting with them. That's for sure.
I'm right there with you. I agree with the Ravens. They should be right there fighting for that division. But I'm also looking at Cincinnati, man. I mean, Joe Burrow, you know, he's a viable quarterback. He's went to the Super Bowl, but like you mentioned, he just has to stay healthy. And the offensive line should protect him. Now, their issue is running the ball. They haven't had a run game in like 3 years. They've been dependent on Joe Burrow to pass the ball, to put up points. And I don't know how long they're going to be able to sustain that. You know, you kind of, if you're one dimensional, it's kind of hard for you to win games, but it's the fact that their defense has been bailing them out. And there's one thing interesting about this division, Wham. All four of these teams were top 10 in takeaways last year. You know, Baltimore had 31. You know, Cleveland had 28. Pittsburgh had 27. Cincinnati had 26. So the defenses of all four of these teams could easily make the difference in the season for these teams. You know, Baltimore, you mentioned that they picked up Derrick Henry, and I think that takes a little bit pressure off of Lamar Jackson, always trying to run the ball because his rush attempts are around like 9 and 10 a game. So a quarterback, I don't think should be able to be running the ball 9 to 10 times a game. Not to say he's not dynamic and he can get the first downs. You know, he can make plays, but I just think Lamar Jackson needs to stay in the pocket, show that you can pass from the pocket to put pressure on these secondaries. I think if you continue to start to run the ball, they're going to stack the line, you know. But the fact they got Derrick Henry now, I think it takes pressure off of him because he's going to be the workhorse on that offense. And for Cincinnati, I just mentioned keeping Joe Burrow healthy is pretty much is what they're going to have to mainly focus on. And for Cleveland, quarterback situation is shaky as well. They don't have their running back to start the season, so they're going to have to rely on Ford. And I don't know if Deshaun Watson is going to even play the whole season. You know, he could get hurt. You know, he could have some issues. You know, some head things going on up there to where he could easily just throw the season. But their defense is still solid. They were number one in total defense last year, and you still got Myles Garrett, one of the best sack leaders in the league. So the defense could easily make plays for Cleveland. It just depends on is the offense going to convert those situations that the defense put them in. And for as the last team, which is Pittsburgh, their quarterback situation is very shaky to me. I think both these quarterbacks have been sacked the most the last couple of years, you know, and I expected Russell Wilson to start just because of the seniority, but I think he got a short leash, to be honest. He may just play the first game, you know, who knows? But all in all, man, it's just all about the defenses in this division. Now, if I had to make a bet, I definitely would take Baltimore to win the division. But I think the Bengals could be right there fighting for it as well. I'm not concerned about Pittsburgh. Their defense is way better than their offense, in my opinion. And like I mentioned before, it's Cleveland, their defense is better. But Cleveland can make plays and they can get to turn the ball over. So it just depends on the situations that Cleveland would be in. Now, the prop that I'm going to take in this division for sure, I'm going to take Cleveland's field goal kicker, Dustin Hopkins, because he was leading the league second last year in field goals made. And Cleveland doesn't score a lot of touchdowns. You know, they like to run the ball. So when they get in the red zone, if they get stalled, they're going to have to kick field goals. So I believe that their field goal kicker over 1.5 field goals is going to be a very, very profitable bet going into this season. But as far as me picking the division, I'm definitely going to take Baltimore to win the division again and fight for that AFC crown.
I agree. I like that look a lot, bro. I like that look a lot. Yeah, man, we right there with it. And shout out to my dog Justin, man. Cleveland will be Cleveland, man. It's just what it is, bro. It's exactly what it is, man. We can't change it. We can't change it. Let's go back west here, bro. We're gonna go west, and then we're gonna double back to the east. AFC West. We just talked a little bit about, Kansas City. Obviously, they won the Super Bowl back-to-back champion, favorite to win it again, I believe. Something crazy like that again. Doubling back here. Obviously, they're favorite to win this division by a landslide, if I'm not mistaken. It's Kansas City minus 300. The next one is the Chargers plus 380. Following that is the Raiders plus 1,000. Denver Broncos plus 1,600. Obviously, these teams are down bad. I mean, they're in the bad tail of the era as far as for the Denver Broncos, even for the Chargers. They're not in a good era right now. I guess the Raiders are in the brighter side of the era here. Obviously, they're falling from the the Al Davis passing and things of that nature, moving from Oakland. Now they're back to Las Vegas. They got their coach. This is a year where, it is on the uptick, just, legacy wise for this Raiders team. They're only going to be going up here from here on out. So I don't think this is a bet down on the Raiders or think that they're going to be, weak as they have been, at least. Broncos may have found their damn quarterback. Bo Nix looked really well in the preseason. I liked what I've seen from Bo Nix. Not necessarily what I've seen from Sean Payton, though. I'm still going to go against the coach. The coach ain't shit. And if the coach ain't shit, the head ain't shit, you ain't shit. And that's just pretty much how the shit starts. That's how it should end. Following that, I don't necessarily think anything else other than I don't want to trust him. So I'm not going in that direction. And if I was to, think that, the boy coming from Michigan, Harbaugh, is going to come here year one, change this Chargers team and cash this plus 380 and make something out of, Justin Herbert. I got to think that is something that ain't going I have to think that is something that's could be likely. You know what I mean? Could be likely, but is it likely? No, I don't think that is likely. So I do think that they will win this division, but I don't think that they're going to win this division as easy as a minus 300 says. I think this is going to be the hardest minus 300 if you add this to your parlay, because it's going to be one of the stankiest ones. I don't think that they're going to win super duper convincingly as you would expect there. So that being said, I'm coming up to this draft right now, bro. So you gotta hold it down for me right now. I'm gonna kick it to my dog, LJ. Hey, what you thinking, bro, about this?
I'm thinking that Kansas City is going to win the division handily again. And this is a situation where Tom Brady was in for years in his division. He was going to the AFC Championship so many times because he had a weak division. So he took advantage of that. And I believe that Patrick Mahomes is in the same situation. And not only that, Tom Brady went to the AFC Championship 8 years in a row. I think it was from 2011 to 2007, somewhere around there. I don't know the right years, but I know it was 8 years in a row he made the AFC Championship. Patrick Mahomes has made the AFC Championship in every season he's played. He's at 6. So he only needs 2 more seasons to catch that record. And I believe that he's going to do it just because of how weak the division is. Now, we got the Broncos. They added their quarterback. I believe they do got their quarterback for the future, in my opinion. He was in college forever, so he got the experience. He's old enough, so, but like you mentioned, Sean Payton still has to prove that he could be a good coach. He was with the Saints. He had Drew Brees. He had a good defense. But let's see what you could do with Denver after you just threw Russell Wilson out of the ball, So, hey, we'll see how that works. And the Raiders, I like the coach, Antonio Pierce, but I don't think they have the roster to be valuable. They got Devontae Adams, but who's throwing him the ball? Gardner Minshew? I mean, he's a backup for a reason, and now he's starting. So I think that's going to be very, very, very hindrance for them. And the Chargers, they may be much better than we think. They were 5-12 last year, so they only can go up, in my opinion. Even if they got 7 wins, 2 more wins, it'd be a good season for them, in my opinion. They got Jim Harbaugh. He may be in the running for coach of the year because he could come turn this franchise around in a couple of years and make them valuable. He has a good quarterback in Justin Herbert, but he's dealing with some injuries as well. So I don't know how effective they're going to be. I have to see it. They got rid of their Eckler, their running back. So they added a lot of pieces as well. Now their defense has to improve too because they gave up a lot of passing yards last year in their secondary, which they had a lot of injuries. But neither there said I'm expecting Harbaugh to improve the team, but I don't think he's just going to do it in a year. That's just not my opinion because he has to go against my opinion, the GOAT right now of the NFL, which is Patrick Mahomes. So as long as Patrick Mahomes is in that division with you, you're going to have a tough time trying to win. So I'm definitely expecting Kansas City to win. I'm not going to take a minus 300 for them to win the division, of course. So I'm just going to take it game by game because if you know about Kansas City, they don't cover the spread at home. They cover the spread on the road. So if you're a betting man with Kansas City, bet Kansas City on the road opposed to betting them at home because they squeak out wins at home. They barely win. But when they're on the road, Patrick Mahomes is a different quarterback. So that's my opinion on that. But of course, I'm going to take Kansas City, predict Kansas City to win the division.
I like that a lot, bro. I'm trying to decide between Travis Etienne or Derrick Henry. I think I'm going to go Travis Etienne. It's only right. Yeah, it's only right. I'm going to go with the younger guy, even though they both coming off of whatever injuries. We're going to go Etienne. I'm done with the draft until for now. Yeah, so AFC West, bro. Listen, man. It's hard to take anything on the back side of the front side of this because I expect there to be a change in the level here. So again, this is another situation with me going case by case. I think that you're going to be able to find yourself to bet against this damn Kansas City Chiefs team. Maybe earlier than often. Obviously, I said I'm playing against them starting off against the Ravens. I did take the money line plus 130. That is an official bet for me. I did take Kansas City fade starting off plus 130 for the Baltimore Ravens. And I do believe that the Cincinnati Bengals week 2 is a good bet as well. Following that up with them Bengals as well. So I am going to be rocking like that. Again, I did say I don't like the Bengals, but in this case, I do. I think that I'm going to be able to try to bet against the Kansas City. And the main thing is going to be what's wrong with them. And it's going to be they can't be at top all the time. It's just got to be some variance in this league. It's just what it is. And it starts off with their division, too. I do believe that the Raiders possibly can beat them. They could possibly beat them in the at home when they play them at home. They do play the Raiders on the road. That is going to be a travel. I'm sorry, they play the Raiders in Vegas. I'm sorry, they play the Raiders in Vegas, and they play them again in the almost like a sandwich spot between that Carolina game and the Chargers. I think that Vegas game is going to be one of those that they kind of look over in between those games, and they may be able to lose that game too. So that's the game that I really want to key in on, and I believe that is week 10. No, I'm sorry, that's week 13. Week 13 with Kansas City is where I'm looking to fade them there against the Raiders. I think that the Raiders may be able to catch them there. So it's just a way far to look ahead. My boy say he ain't fading my homie. I understand. But I'm starting off week one, taking the Ravens.
Oh, full disclosure, I'm on the Ravens too. I'm taking the points though. I didn't take the money line, but I'm definitely on the points.
I'm on the money line, and I took the points plus 3. I took both.
Gotcha.
I took both. So I took both. Don't even worry about it. But yeah, so that's that for the AFC West. We're gonna kind of breeze through it a little bit. NFC West, did we already talked about that? No, because I haven't told you how much I love the Arizona Cardinals this year. And that's starting off with Kyler Murray, bro. Resurgence of the boy. Call of Duty's been weak lately, man. Just be honest with y'all. So he hasn't been playing the game. And now he actually has time to learn the playbook. And he has one of the best wide receivers, not only the best rookie wide receivers, which I do think Adanye is for the Indiana Colts is going to be right there. But he ain't going to be as good as Marvin Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be the best wide receiver of this team for sure by far. And this team only got better with that wide receiver core, and then they only got better with the running back being healthy and Connor. I think all this is going to help them out. Their defense has been pretty much kind of the same there. I think it's just a lot going for them, getting rid of the bad coaching that you was getting from Cliff Kingsbury, whatever his name is. And I think that it's going to work out for Kyler this time around. And if it doesn't, he will be one of the first ones gone. So he's already looking like could be out of here. And if it doesn't work with this new wide receiver, which who we know is going to be bussing, if it doesn't work here, it's really over for you. And I think that is going to be just enough motivation alone to help this team start off what I think is going to be a pretty epic start off for this team. So I started instead of starting off with the division winners, which we can start with division winners with the NFC West. Obviously, you got the big favorite, well, not necessarily big favorite anymore. San Francisco 49ers. We know what drama they've been having with Deebo Samuel. All that got situated. I'm not Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. All that got settled, so it's all good now. He's going to get his pay. He's going to get paid, and he's going to play all the good stuff. It's all good there. The Rams is obviously probably one of the best sneaky plays smoking for, or at least one of the popular plays in this division. A lot of people like the Rams because they got two wide receivers that's coming in here healthy, and Puka and Cup, and they have probably the best quarterback in this division, and Matthew Stafford, who's already showed that he's a Super Bowl champion quarterback. This defense is going to keep doing this thing with defensive wise, and then Kerryon Williams played pretty well down the stretch, but I think Kerryon Williams maybe still it's the running back tandem I like from Corum and Kerryon Williams is going to be good for this team offensive wise. So I think that's something they got going for them for sure. Yeah, so the Rams, I do like that. But this Arizona Cardinals team is not for the week. This Arizona Cardinals team is not for the week. I think they will be sneaky, and they will start it off sneaky. Obviously, their first game they go against a big team as big team as it gets in the Bills. Playing the Bills is going to be a tough task. They're not going to win that game. I don't expect them to, but they are going to play them pretty tough, and that's going to translate into them being able to play a tough in-game opponent against the Rams. I think they can win that game against the Rams. Following that, they're going to lose against Detroit. Then they have to play the Washington Commanders. The Washington Commanders on week 4 is going to be their big test. We're going to talk about the NFC East following that, but I think that's going to be one of the biggest early tests for them because both teams don't have nothing to lose, and it's going to be a slug 'em type of game here. I think both quarterbacks plays pretty well, and they have to use their feet to play well. I do think that Jaden Daniels and Kyler Murray show off in this game, and both rookies in Jaden Daniels and Marvin Harrison have standout games as well in that game. So I think week 4, by then we'll know what type of team we have with this Arizona Cardinals. And being last in this division, I think it is a chance that they could possibly even be second in this division as far as favorite-wise by then as well, because I think that you're going to see the 49ers play a little bit down to earth. Their defense is going to get caught up. Their offense is probably going to get caught up as well. So things may not be the same as you expect it to be for some of these teams here. And I think I am going to call bluff on some of the teams that's a little bit better. This division is just better, bro. Seattle's only going to get better. They got so many draft picks, so many standout players that's only going to be amplified in this Seattle team. They're probably going to be top in this division, and then the Rams is going to be well as well. So I think the Cardinals is playing well. So this division is I wouldn't take nobody. I would take everybody except the 49ers. You know what I'm saying? Pretty much. You know what I mean? That's how I would take this division. That's how I would go. Other than that, yeah, that's how I would go. What about you, LJ? What do you feel about this game, man?
Yeah, 49ers, they're a heavy favorite to win, but I just think the durability is going to be a determining factor for them. McCaffrey's had a lot of usage the last couple of years, for the 49ers. They've depended on him very heavily. So I just think that's going to come to a head eventually. They don't have Trent Williams signed, so the offensive line, is going to be, vulnerable to where Brock Purdy, he's going to drop back. He may be running for his life because he don't have his pass protector right there. So I think that's going to be an issue. And as far as the defense, they play physical football, the 49ers, and that's why they always have a lot of injuries. So if they can stay durable and healthy, they still should be viable for an NFC. You mentioned the Rams. I'm expecting the Rams to be a lot better as well. They were in the playoffs last year. They lost to Detroit in the wild card. So I'm expecting the Rams to be right there. And Sean Payton's very good in his division, So I believe him, to stand pat as well. It's going to be a difference on the defense now that Aaron Donald has been retired. So I'm interested to see how they're going to respond to that. You know, they got a lot of young players on their defense, so I don't know how they're going to be able to be cohesive with that. I think that's going to take a little time as well. And you say Arizona, man. I don't know. Well, I mean, Arizona, their issue is that their defense, man, they give up a lot of points. 27 points allowed last year. They only scored 19. So that's a big difference to me. And if your defense is always on the field because your offense can't move the ball, you know, it's just only going to be hard on you. And the first games that you mentioned, they have to play Buffalo, the Rams, Detroit, the 49ers, Green Bay, and Miami in that first part of their schedule. That's a gauntlet right there. So
We gonna know who we got by then, though, for sure. We gonna know.
You're right about that. But I'm just going as far as the paper. If they can get out of that, because those are 6 playoff teams right there that they have to play in their first 8 games. So if they can get out of that, you know, with a decent record going down the stretch of their schedule, it's very favorable. You know, a lot of below 500 teams that they're playing. So I don't know, man. I just have to see Kyler Murray stay healthy, and I have to see them protect him because he's another quarterback that's always running because the offensive line can't protect him. So if they can protect him, I'm going to have to see him move the ball. Now, I'm not saying he can't. He's a good quarterback. He's very fast. He's durable. You know, he's very dynamic, but he has to be protected in order to move that ball. Now, Seattle, I don't have no faith in Seattle. I'm not a Geno Smith fan. You know, the defense gave up, 138 rushing yards last year, which was ranked 31st in the NFL, and they don't even run the ball. They didn't even average 100 yards on the ground last year. So those are the 2 things that they have to fix. But I just think the division, they have a lot more competition in their division to try to fight for a division right here. So I'm expecting the 49ers and the Rams to compete for this division. The Cardinals can be sneaky, but I just have to see it for myself. And not only that, the Cardinals. This is how you bet the Cardinals. They went 7-1 to the over at home last year, but they're 22-11-2 to the under on the road since 2020. So if you just want to do the home splits, just take the over on the home with the Cardinals and take the under on the road. Now, Kyler Murray is good on the road, 12-6 on the road outside of the division since 2020. Now, when he's in the division, he's only 5-17. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big discrepancy for me. He has to play well in the division for them to be viable. That's the issue with the Cardinals. Now, if they can change that, hey, I'm all in because I like the Cardinals. I have a friend that lives in Arizona, so we talk a lot about this team. So I like to watch them to get a couple talking points to talk to him. And his issue is always that Kyler Murray's always in the shotgun. And that makes you very predictable on these defenses. Put him under center, let him run some plays because you got Connor. You know, he was top 3 in run percentage last year. So you got a run game. You just have to allow Kyler Murray to pass from the pocket instead of always being in the shotgun because you get predictable in those situations. So other than that, I'm not going to pick the 49ers to win a division. You know, I'm thinking the Rams can pull it off, in my opinion. That would be my bet right there, the Rams to win a division. But other than that, those are the 2 teams right there, Rams and 49ers, with Arizona kind of teetering right there. But it just depends on how they come out the first part of their schedule.
All right, now we down to the last 2 divisions here. We're going to start off with the NFC East here. It's obviously another tight division. These next 2 are really tight. The Eagles are slight favorites at -145 on Bet Online. Right after that is the Dallas Cowboys with a lot to lose, but a lot not. I'm not with a lot not to lose because these guys are going to get paid regardless, as in Dak and the coach. He would get paid as well wherever he goes next, even though they're not trying to extend him. So they both on prove it years for the last year of their contracts. And I like that a lot for him. You got the game back together because you got Zeke Elliott back there as well. So I kind of do like the vibes for the Cowboys just because I think it's more like a sell, a buy low situation for them. They're not necessarily showing you that they're, really favored to win this. And even though I think that their defense is just as comparable as the Eagles defense, it's not necessarily bar hands a lot better or anything either other side. You could say is better offense on the Eagles side just based off of what the additions were as far as Saquon Barkley added on to this team. Of course, you could just add it in there and say that they got a better offense that alone. So I wouldn't argue down at all with that. But that being said, I do think that the narrative wise, since this is the script is really set for the Cowboys here. It's not necessarily set for the Eagles, in my opinion. Obviously, the Eagles are going to be the better team, I believe, still. But I don't believe that this is going to be such an easy road for them, not at all. And then that being said, the Giants are going to be the worst, of course. But the Commanders are the sneakiest team here, and we will be taking the Commanders over 6.5 point wins. I do have this as the first official future for me to be official here. The Washington Commanders over 6.5 wins starts off here pretty sweet, I believe. And the reason why I say it's sweet because they played the Buccaneers, which I think is being hyped up a little too much to start this year off. They're riding on the fucking backs of Tom Brady at this point. They're fucking coattailing Tom Brady. This team ain't like that. This team is not like that. I don't think they're even going to be the second best team in this division. So I think that they're going to get probably hit with reality with the Washington Commanders because I think the Commanders are such a well coached team. Being the fact that these are all new coaching coming in to play, this is pretty much a whole new team. You got a new quarterback, you got new players coming in to lead the team and things of that nature. I think that this is just a situation here, all the way locked in for them. Now I got a situation here: George Pickens, Tank Dell. I'm gonna go take Dell. It's only right gonna take Dell. This is the script. We're doing it live right now. I gotta take Tank Dell, bro. We know he's scoring touchdown for us this year, bro. That
Yes,
shit's not
sir.
changing. That is not changing. Tank Dell is scoring touchdowns this year, y'all. Don't worry about it. I'm taking him 57th overall. That's pretty solid. That's a little higher than his That's pretty solid still. After that, I'm going. I can't tell y'all because I know somebody might be watching. That I'm in the Can't tell y'all. All right, my fault. So yeah, the NFC East though, just to keep it G with you, bro. Like I think that this team, this is the only way I can make a money here on the future wise is taking the Commanders over 6.5 wins, just because I think that they're going to start off playing pretty well. Again, they played Tampa Bay. Following that, they play who I believe is going to be the weakest team in the division in the Giants, and I think they're going to win that convincingly. Following that, they may even play a injured or on their last leg type of player with Joe Burrow in week 3. I'm not even sure if fucking Joe Burrow is gonna last to week 3 here. I'm very convinced that this motherfucker is walking on eggshells, bro. So I believe he might be even out the paint by then. So that being said, I think that the Commanders have a good chance to be 2-1 to start the damn year. And that's pretty much all you really need to do is beat the odds twice to start the year off to go over the 6.5 wins here. You're going to still play the Giants again. And I believe that you can find other wins with the Browns, but maybe even the Cardinals there.
Carolina, you got Carolina on there.
Cardinals game, I expect that to be a a game where it's going to be a high tempo type game, even though they are going to have the travel disadvantage with the Cardinals. They got to go East Coast to West. Well, kind of they got to go a few time zones, I believe, 2 time zones. But other than that, that's the only trouble there that I think that you're going to see. Maybe a little bit more tired Washington Commanders team against them Cardinals, but it's going to be a high tempo game. I think that they're going to be somebody I got to keep an eye out on, lock in on. That being said, that's how I'm taking the NFC East. I'm going to just think that the Commanders is the best play to take early on. Other than that, it's going to be tit for tat. Great script for the Cowboys. I think that we're going to make money with the Cowboys this year because it's just going to be their time to win in the regular season. We're going to have to find out in the playoffs if they're going to be able to do that in that regard. But kick it to LJ. How you feel about the NFC? We're going to cap off the NFC with the NFC East. How you feel about this team, this division, bro?
Yeah, man, I'm right there in the passenger seat with you, bro. Over 6.5 wins for the Commanders because I do believe that they'll beat the Giants twice, and I think they'll split with the Dallas and Eagles. You see what I'm saying? So that's 4 wins right there. You only need 3 more. Like you mentioned, you got Cleveland on the schedule, got Carolina on the schedule, got Tennessee on the schedule. So Tampa Bay first to start off. I easily can see 7 wins for Washington. And they got Jay Daniels for a reason. They got Dan Quinn, defensive-minded coach, so he's going to improve the defense. And I got high hopes for him, man. So I definitely will be watching the Commanders to see how they turn out. Dallas, I think they take a step back, man. It was just too many noise in the offseason, in my opinion. Dak's still looking for an extension. CD got his money, but they're starting two rookies on the offensive line, and I think that's going to hurt them to start off the season. I don't think Dak is going to be able to be protected. He may be running for his life. He may get even injured, man. So I think Dallas is going to take a step back, and I'm predicting Dallas to miss the playoffs. I'm already putting it out there. I'm thinking that they're going to miss the playoffs just because of all the noise, and I think the defense takes a step back too. Because that was the main piece of them last year. They put up all those points. They were good, but that defense was setting Dak up in a lot of good situations to score. So, Eagles, I'm expecting Saquon to be a huge factor for them. He can pass, he can catch out the backfield and run between the tackles. So Jalen Hurts has a good piece there. You still got AJ Brown. You got Devontae Smith. But let's see if the Philadelphia's defense is improved because they gave up a lot of passing yards last year. So
They did.
and they started off 10-1, and then they took a nosedive because Jalen Hurts, I believe, was hurt. But we'll see how they have a new defensive coordinator as well. So we'll just see how their defense improves. I think that's the main issue for the Eagles, to see how their defense improves to stop these teams from getting these passing yards and scoring on them. And the Giants, we already know who Daniel Jones is. He's a turnover machine. I don't see the Giants doing anything. Now, I mentioned this on the show earlier, like just take the under at home with the Giants. That's the best bet. Don't even worry about taking the side with them because they're not going to be able to score any points, especially at home. So you take the under at home with the Giants. I believe the Commanders will get their over 6.5 wins. I think Dallas misses the playoffs, and I think the Eagles will definitely fight to win that division.
I like that. I like that. Look, I like all that, and I'm right there with you with all that. AFC East now. It's going to be a little bit more trickier to break this one down because we kind of know that there's going to be parity. There's going to be parity because there's always parity in this division. But where is it coming from as far as the surprises? That obviously the favorite right now is the New York Jets. They're plus 150, small favorite against the Buffalo Bills, which is plus 175. After that, you got the Dolphins, which is coming in at plus 230. Defense doesn't get any respect for the Dolphins because they keep giving up points. So that's why you're not getting any respect for their defense. And that's the reason why their number is like this. That is their main objective, though. Coming into this offseason, they're trying to make improvements on the defensive side. They have a chain. They have Waddle. They have Tyreek Hill. They have Tua locked in. They don't necessarily need to go crazy adding guys as far as on the offensive side. So the improvements have to be on the defensive side. So that's where you need to see improvement for this Miami Dolphin team in order for them to be able to get past this third tier, you know what I'm saying, in this division. They got to get past that. That being said, do I think they're going to get past that? Yes and no. The reason why I say yes is because it's going to be all about their health. Of course, it's all about health with a lot of these teams, but in this particular case, we know how Tua is. Tua is similar to Joe Burrow. They go as far as he goes. He's out. It's over for him, and I believe that this is going to be all transcended into this season for the Bills and the Jets. Both teams have stellar quarterback play coming in. At least they're trying to. At least. The Jets, we know what happened last year. They got the quarterback sniped out in the first drive. Now he's coming back very tiptoe, really hasn't played at all since we've seen him. Now he's going to come out and play again. Their first game, very interesting enough, the Giants, New York Giants, their first game is in San Francisco. Following that, they have to go to Tennessee. Then they have two home games against divisional foe in the Patriots and the Bo Nix led Broncos. So that first four is getting tested on the road, but the only real test is, you could say, is going to be that that look for San Francisco. I think that the Tennessee game is not something we want to play around with either for that Jets team, even though they could play really well against the and I think they can beat the 49ers that game. They come out here and beat the 49ers. They got to get a 10 to beat this Tennessee. You know what I'm saying? Aaron Rodgers looks so good. They're going to lay a 10 or an 8 or something crazy like that against Tennessee. Tennessee is probably going to cover that game. You know what I mean? Maybe not win the game, but they may cover that game. And that's going to be an interesting game to be watching out for because there's going to be shit like that all the time. So that being said, do I want to take the Jets to win? Because I think they can start off hot. They could beat the damn Niners, which I do believe they have action on beating the Niners. Beat the Niners, start off pretty solid, and then you got this Bills team struggle against Kyler Murray and them. You know what I'm saying? Like straight up struggle against Kyler Murray and them. So they could possibly even fall after Miami's performance there. So as far as this division, I think this division is one of those divisions that's going to change week to week, and I don't want to have anything locked in on it before because we got so much time. Guys could be injured. There's nothing you can really lock in that makes any sense. It's all flipping a coin, in my opinion. And that being said, I have nothing in this division here at all, but I will kick it to my dog LJ. You got anything in the AFC East, bro?
Well, I haven't took anything official yet because I'm debating with the Jets and the Bills to see who's going to win that division. And the books are agreeing with me because I got them at both of them is plus 175 to win. Let's start off with the Patriots. I just think they're not going to be viable at all. I don't think they're going to be able to move the ball. Defense is still, you know what it is, but I just think the quarterback situation is just too much for them to overcome. Dolphins, high-powered offense, but I just think that the defense is going to hurt them. They had a lot of injuries last year, and I just believe that they're not going to be able to stop these teams from scoring. It's going to be a track meet every game, and we can see how the offensive line protects Tua is for the most part is what I feel. But I believe the best prop bet for them, Miami, is to just take Tua 2 touchdowns. He had 2 touchdowns every game, averaged 2 touchdowns a game last year, especially at home. And he got Tyreek, he got Waddle, he got Odell now. So he has a lot of pieces he can play with. So I just think that they're still going to put up points. But I just think the defense is going to be the hindrance for them to try to compete for the division. Buffalo, I think they're going to be right there as well. They did lose some pieces on the offense and defense as well. But I just still think Josh Allen is still a good quarterback to keep them viable in that division. And also with a prop for Josh Allen, rushing touchdowns. He's had, what is his rushing touchdowns, Josh? 53 rushing touchdowns. That's the most since he's been in the league. So if you just take his rushing touchdown every game, I believe that you'll be making good money as well. You can even parlay it with the win. But just to focus on the rushing touchdown, because he's not going to have a lot of pieces to throw this year. So he's going to have to depend on a lot to score. And he likes to run the ball like a running back. So if you just invest in his touchdowns a game, rushing touchdown, I think you'll be good there. Now with the Jets can only go up, man. I mean, they were horrible on offense last year. And I believe that they have one of the best defenses in the league. They only gave up 16 points a game, on defensive side, but they couldn't put up points. I think that's going to change this year with Aaron Rodgers. He's still a good quarterback, in my opinion, maybe top 5. That may be arguable, but I still believe he's a top 5 quarterback in this league. He just has to get out of his way. You know what I'm saying? Be a team player. Stop making all these innuendos of you being the man, being condescending. You got your coach that you wanted. You got your players that you wanted. You have a nice back, Brees Hall, very valuable. So it just depends on Aaron Rodgers to be successful and get out of his own way because he has no excuses this year. I believe he has no excuses. So as long as that defense holds, which in my opinion they will, I believe the Jets will be right there to win the division. And the schedule works out great for them. They play the 49ers. They play Buffalo twice because it's a division, Miami, and they play Houston and Pittsburgh. Those are the only teams that made the playoffs last year. So their schedule works out very well for them. So I'm expecting the Jets to be right there along with the Bills fighting for this division. I haven't picked one yet. I'm going to see how the season goes. But if I had to make it right now, I probably would take the Buffalo Bills to win the division, and I would take the Jets to be in the wild card.
I could dig it, man. That's tough. That's tempting as well. Man, that's tough. That's tempting as well. Now that we got it locked in and we got it locked out, it's the script season 2. It's only right that we give you the best bets, future bets as well. I'm going to say my best bet. I think I like the Ravens money line, but I'm going to say the best bet is going to be the future bet. I really believe that the Commanders are going to be really better than what they expecting, and all they got to do is win 7 games. So give me the Commanders over 6.5 minus 110. That is the official best bet for me here. I'll put yours down here as well, the best bet, and then you could just give out your rest of your bets as well. LJ, how do you want to end the people out with, bro?
Well, like I said, I'm right there with you with the Commanders. I'm expecting them to get over 7.5 wins for sure. I'm expecting the Cowboys to miss the playoffs. You know, that's another one that I'm going to be invested in. I'm going to take the Texans to go over 9.5 wins. They're going to hit 10 wins and win the division as well. But like I just mentioned, man, I just think long term throughout the season, we're going to pick on the vulnerable teams in this league. And the Giants take the under at home. Every time they play at home, take the under. It's a heavy trend to the under ever since like 2020. It's just something that I've been investing in the last couple of years. So that's one of my best bets right there. And primetime unders. You know, it's been going under. I'm going to take the under for the 49ers and Jets Monday Night Football game. I'm going to take that under because I believe Monday Night Football last year, it was 14-7 to the under. You know what I'm saying? So I think that continues. So definitely taking the under in the Monday night game. I'm going to take the under at home when the Giants play. I'm taking Washington over 6.5 wins, and I'm going to take the Cowboys to miss the playoffs. Those are my bets.
I like it. I like it. Love all those right there. Y'all can follow my dog LJ from H-Town. Y'all know where to find me. Trot Wham on Twitter. We're gonna make it like that real quick and real brief. We'll be out of here. We'll be back here. I'm sorry. So we'll be out of here. We'll be back here. We'll be back here next week, next Sunday, bright early next Sunday. Before I kick it out, I'm gonna give it to my dog LJ. Anything you want to end the people off with? Let them know what you got going on for the rest of the week, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm starting back up Raw Words Podcast on YouTube. Go right now. Go subscribe. We got first video coming out is Wednesday. We're going to go over the week 1 schedule. Wham definitely going to join me. And we're just going to go through our picks, man, for week 1. Talk about our plays. Talk about what we like. And like he mentioned, every Sunday, we will be right here on the script going through the Sunday slate. And before that, I'm going to put on my prop show. I'm going to have 5 best prop bets that I'm going to give you every Sunday morning that y'all can look at to see if y'all want to make some money. Because football season is back, guys. And this is the best part of the year for me. It's a lot of money to be made. It's a lot of things that we can look at. A lot of turnover in the league, you know, a lot of parity. So it's going to be an interesting season, you know. So I'm very excited. So, yeah, go follow me on YouTube, Raw Words Podcast. Go Twitter at LJ Sports Media. I put all my plays up there. You know, we just hit today with Asia Wilson and a dog. I never can say her name with the wings, but y'all know who I'm talking about.
I'm a
Yeah, there we go. I've already hit those today, you know. And also, Top Tier Handicapping Network. Go on YouTube right now. Go follow us on there. We give out our free plays every morning. So y'all can have some things to look at. So I'm all over the place, man. All over YouTube. Y'all go type me in LJ from Houston. You may not know where you gonna find me, man, talking sports. So this is what I do. This is my passion. And we always about breaking these bookies.
That's right, bro. We'll be back out here next time you see us, man. We'll be getting to it early in the morning, breaking down the week 1 card. Until then, man, we'll see y'all next time, bro.
5-on-5 game, he good. 1-on-1, I'm undefeated, never lost.